To CFP, to our podcast where we talk about how to be more courageous, worthy, and be certain about it all the time. And today we're going to talk about when worthiness isn't taught and how to reparent ourselves as an adult. So, lovely Lauren, what do you think about that?
I am always honored to be here and always excited to talk about what we have on the table. But worthiness is a huge deal for anyone who is seeking to expand and to live a beautiful, blessed life. If you don't think you're worthy, how are you going to receive what is out there for you? So I'm really excited to have this conversation today, Dr. Gigi.
Yes, it's great to be here. And, if this topic resonates with you, and I'm talking to you out there, if it resonates, please like, subscribe, and more importantly, share. I believe worthiness is at an epidemic low in this world.
Mhm.
And this is my PSA. This is our PSA, our public service to improve that, improve our worthiness. And as we get more worthy, we'll be more courageous, be able to make the change that we want to see in our lives. And, that's what I'm all about.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
Yes, yes. So I'm your host, Dr. Gigi, and today we're going to dive into the tender, yet powerful topic of worthiness. And, how often is worthiness taught? And if worthiness wasn't taught to you, like it wasn't taught to me, then we got to reparent ourselves as an adult. And so, how do we do that? Did we know that we could do that? And so, if you've ever felt invisible, not good enough, or like you had to earn the right to be loved, you're not alone. And this episode is just for you. So join me and my lovely co-host, Lovely Lauren, who brings such great and so much heart to our um, intimate conversations.
Thank you, Gigi. Thank you. I'm excited to explore this with you today, and let's get it started.
I love that. So let's settle in, take a deep breath, and know that you are safe here. This is a safe space to have conversation. So let's talk about what happens when worthiness is not taught. And worthiness isn't something you earn, it's not something that comes out of the womb, it's your birthright. But we often don't know that, or we often, grow up in homes or schools or systems, institutions, what have you, that really don't reflect, that truth. And instead, we have to learn that we have to hustle for our love, perform to be praised, people please, be a perfection, shrink our light, dim ourselves. What do you think about that, Lauren?
All of what you said, and I think it's easier for us to like think that we're the only ones that feel that way about ourselves, that love is conditional, that we feel unworthy, all of those things. um and to be honest with you, it's exhausting and it's depressing and it's defeating, but it's more common than we think. I think, if anything, there's more people that feel unworthy than they do feel worthy of love, support, and I especially see that working in education with children and everything. How early we learn not to see ourselves as worthy.
Yeah, I think so. And do you think that worthiness is more of a problem for men than women or women than men?
I think it depends on what, when you talk about like worthy of like safety, love. I think it's genuinely both. Um,
Oh,
but when you talk about like respect and honor and positions like in life and different things like that, I think that's where it starts to look different for both sides, you know, like
right.
women
Yeah,
have to like be worthy of being chosen or being worthy of like adoration and like love and support and being considered beautiful and
right,
all things. And men, it's strength and respect and power and you know some of it blends in together, but I really do think like it just depends on what it is that you're seeking or desiring, what's been taught to you that's important to value.
hmm hmm hmm
What
yeah. That's a really good point, and I like that you said it just exists, regardless of the gender, and it shows up differently. We have to perform differently in order to receive that praise. And so I'm really curious for those of you listening to the replay, those of you listening to live, so glad that you're here. But how does that play out in your life? And, to what extent were you raised to believe that you were just worthy because you were born with that as a birthright? I didn't think that at all. Like I said, I've was born to be a people pleaser, somebody's wife, somebody's mother, and just always meant to take care of other people and learning to serve myself. Never, really, never,
mm,
but certainly last. If
mm,
if there was a place, it would be last.
wow, wow, yeah, that's interesting that you say that because I feel the same on some levels. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest as a Black girl in a predominantly white school. And, I was taught to have confidence, but also taught that a lot of people wouldn't take me seriously because I was Black and I was a woman. And so, like, I could want things and go for things, but I shouldn't be surprised or disappointed if I wasn't seen for everything that I am because I am Black and I am female.
Mhm.
So it was like you can want things. It's good to want things, but don't be disappointed if you don't get those things. Hmm.
Yeah, almost like we should expect disappointment.
Hmm.
And so then we get programmed to expect disappointment. And as adults, we expect disappointment. We look for disappointment. And what do you know? We get disappointment. We start to receive that and attract that into our lives.
Yeah, the the law of attraction and the belief systems that we hold on to so strongly can really impact how we move in this world. And when you are actually aware of them, things just like completely shift. You're like, why was I so attached to that? Why was that my reality? And what can I do to shift that and change that? And that's why I'm glad we have conversations like this, and why we do the tapping,
Mhm.
because you can reshape and transform your belief system to align with what it is that you really want, which is to feel worthy.
Yes, yes, yeah. And when we think about worthiness, it really starts during our formative years when we were from 0 to 7. And so I want to talk a little bit about the inner child. It's that part of us that holds our memories, our subconscious. And when we look at that Oh, I wish I had the the image of the subconscious, in the water, or that iceberg in the water that shows, the top part, just peeping out of the ocean, and that represents our conscious, and everything below, which is most of everything, 90% or more, which represents our subconscious. But our subconscious and our inner child, in my mind, they're really one and the same.
Hmm.
And so when we weren't when we weren't nurtured emotionally as children, that part of us can get stuck. We talked a little bit about that last week with Ty Kuttner, when he was talking about internal family systems. And so check out that episode, Parts is Parts. But sometimes those parts get stuck in time and frozen in time. That's what I found so interesting. Some of those parts are young, young, and they still have that same level of maturity. They might be 5, they might be 13, and they have that same level of maturity of a 5 or a 13-year-old. And so we might grow up physically, but those parts don't always grow up. They don't grow up at the same level, and they stay stuck in exactly where they were. And so that's how some of our behavior stays stuck, especially with unworthiness. Because as a kid, if you start feeling unworthy, you take well, I'll speak for myself. I took everything personally. I thought everything was my fault. I thought, if there's anything bad, it was because of me. And, I just took it all in. And I agree with you. I love how tapping and so many other modalities combined with Roxiva can really help, move that stuck energy and really help to repattern and reprogram, a mindset or, a belief system, so that you're better resourced, to operate from a place of worthiness, a place of knowing that you're good enough for all the best people, places, things in the world.
Yes, yes. That resonates so much with me. I used to think my inner child was something to fix, you know, but now I see her as someone I get to love, I get to comfort, I get to listen to, I get to enjoy, you know, seeing kids at different ages. I remember who I was and what I was like at different points in my life. And so like it's good to just tap into your inner child and show them some love. Um, Pull out a picture or something like that
Yeah, yeah,
to that version of yourself that was everything was new, everything was uncertain and unknown. And sometimes it feels that way even at whatever age you're at now.
yes, 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 yeah,
That
yeah.
that you just want to be seen and you want to feel safe.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that, you had talked about reparenting yourself. And I think it's important, especially if you are a parent, to recognize that your kids may have some ideas of better parenting that you could have done. And they can have that opinion. And similarly, you can have some ideas that your parents or your caregivers could have done a better job. And it doesn't mean that, you're judging them. It just means that you have an opinion, and that's what it is. And, and there's really nothing wrong with that. But I also think, it's important to recognize that people did the best that they could, based upon their own conditioning, and the same for ourselves. So it's not about blaming our caregivers. It's about becoming that loving guide that we've always needed. And really, at the end of the day, I think we are that loving guide that we've always needed, because we can give ourselves the grace, we can give ourselves the kindness, we know what our entire journey's been as far as we can remember. And so we can start to give ourselves, what we need in terms of, the guidance, the nurturing, the direction, that our heart really needs, that our inner child really needs. And so when it comes to validating your feelings, at the end of the day, we can start to validate our own feelings.
Mhm.
We don't have to get it from every Tom, Dick, and Harry. We can honor our own needs. We don't have to get it from somebody else. We don't have to expect that somebody else provides our own needs. We can do it ourselves. And when we do it ourselves, something interesting happens. You know, the the universe starts to send us things that are going to be attractive to that.
It'll start to become in alignment with whatever it is that we're doing or speaking into existence, what we're practicing. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I have made it thanks to you too. I love that. So just a quick share with everyone watching. Gigi and I have conversations all the time about all the things, and she created a tapping for us to do every day, just talking about confidence and worthiness. And we have morning calls where we do the tapping together and we check in with one another. And it's really, I really see how it's changing and shifting me, like through the day, how I think and I respond in certain situations, and it's helping me to take better care of myself and say things to myself like, I've got you, we're getting through this, we're doing the damn thing. And I'm also like checking in with myself. What do I need? How is this making me feel? What can I do to support myself, so that I am having a better experience? Or if I was to give myself advice, what would it be? And I love that. It's simple and it's sacred. And some people say, well, talking to yourself or whatever. We're with ourselves all the time. And
Mhm.
actually talking to yourself is a sign of intelligence. So like why not hype yourself up? Why not give yourself the tools that you need to do better and be better and put yourself in alignment with the type of energy that you want? You know, the universe will then start sending you people, putting you in places, giving you experiences that are in alignment with worthiness, with peace, with safety, with all of that.
Right. Yeah, I think that that's really important. And so we're going to get ready to do one of my favorite tools using emotional freedom techniques to um, start the process to be open and allow and receive ourselves to reparent ourselves. And so one question I have for you is, how true is it on a scale of 1 to 10? One is entirely true, 10 is not true at all, that you are comfortable reparenting yourself right now in this moment. So I want you to, first number that comes to mind, we're going to go through this tapping routine. And this tapping routine is going to raise our awareness that reparenting ourselves is possible, and that we are willing to allow and receive reparenting in a kind, loving, and compassionate way, because we're worthy and deserving of that, such that, when things come about, when life happens, we don't go into that harsh critic voice. We go into that nurturing, loving, calm voice that
Mhm.
helps us journey through that process in a loving way, as opposed to going through it with high levels of stress and anxiety. I mean, really, who likes that? That sends us often into our addictions, It
Mhm.
sends us into doing, behaviors that require validation. And so again, you know, let's learn how to support ourselves, let's nurture ourselves, let's validate ourselves. And emotional freedom techniques is just one of many tools out there that can do it. I like it because it's free. It's DIY. You could do it anytime, anywhere. I like to think of it as a software update for your brain.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's free, it's easy, it's fast, and it's effective.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. And the thing that frustrates me the most when we talk about healing work and everything is a lot of people will just discount it because they're just like, no, that sounds silly or whatever. But if you just try it, if you just try it,
Yeah. You got nothing to lose.
nothing to lose. Nothing,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes. So does everybody have their number?
I do.
Or okay, I've got my number two.
Okay.
So make sure you've got your number out there. We're going to do this round of tapping. And then I'm going to ask you again what your number is. Hopefully it's gone lower. If it hasn't, just do this tapping routine again. Keep doing it until you get it to a level where you feel comfortable. And for everybody, that's different. And sometimes the number does go higher, or sometimes the number doesn't change at all. And there's no good or bad, it just is. So again, just do the tapping over and over until you get to a level where you feel calm. This is really an internal practice for you to determine for yourself, when you're feeling good. So we're going to start by acknowledging the wound and just do what I do and say what I say. Karate chop point. We're just going to gently tap. This is a gentle, loving process. No bruising, no hurting. Even though I wasn't taught I'm worthy,
Even though I wasn't taught I'm worthy,
I choose to be. I choose to begin healing now.
I choose to begin healing now.
Even though I still carry that little one inside me,
Even though I still carry that little one inside me,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though it hurts to admit,
Even though it hurts to admit,
I wasn't nurtured the way I needed,
I wasn't nurtured the way I needed,
I honor that truth.
I honor that truth.
Eyebrow point. I wasn't taught I was worthy.
I wasn't taught I was worthy.
Side of eye. I felt invisible, ignored, or dismissed.
I felt invisible, ignored, or dismissed.
Under eye. My needs felt like too much.
My needs felt like too much.
Under nose. I thought I had to earn love.
I thought I had to earn love.
Under mouth. I'm carrying that belief still.
I'm carrying that belief still.
Collarbone. I feel sadness for little me.
I feel sadness for little me.
3 inches below the armpit. I didn't feel safe being myself.
I didn't feel safe being myself.
Top of head. I am tired of pretending I'm okay.
I am tired of pretending I'm okay.
I am ready to look at this with love.
I am ready to look at this with love.
Release the tapping. We're going to take a deep, conscious breath, inhaling through the nose, visualizing a white, peaceful light. And now exhaling through the mouth with an audible sigh, everything that is not peace and love. Now we're going to release the pain. Karate chop point. Even though I still feel the sting of neglect,
Even though I still feel the sting of neglect,
I honor my younger self with love.
I honor my younger self with love.
Even though this pain runs deep,
Even though this pain runs deep,
I am safe now to release it.
I am safe now to release it.
And even though I still carry this unworthiness,
Even though I still carry this unworthiness,
I allow myself to soften.
I allow myself to soften,
Eyebrow point. Releasing shame and sorrow.
releasing shame and sorrow,
Side of eye. Letting go of the lie that I'm unworthy.
letting go of the lie that I am unworthy.
Under eye. I did nothing wrong.
I did nothing wrong.
Under nose. I was a child in need of love.
I was a child in need of love.
Under mouth. I no longer blame myself.
I no longer blame myself.
I no longer blame my caregiver.
I no longer blame my caregiver.
Collarbone. Breathing into pain.
Breathing into pain,
3 inches below the armpit. Sending comfort to my inner child.
sending comfort to my inner child.
Top of head. I don't have to carry this alone.
I don't have to carry this alone.
Eyebrow point. It's okay to release this now.
It's okay to release this now.
Release the tapping. We're going to take a deep, conscious breath, inhaling through the nose, visualizing a white, peaceful light. And now exhaling through the mouth with an audible sigh, everything that is not peace and love. Now we're going to reparent myself with love. Karate chop point. Even though I never had the parent I needed,
Even though I never had the parent I needed,
I can become the loving guide now.
I can become the loving guide now.
Even though my needs weren't honored then,
Even though my needs weren't honored then,
I choose to honor them today.
I choose to honor them today.
Even though my inner child still aches,
Even though my inner child still aches,
I wrap her or him in love now.
I wrap her in love right now.
Eyebrow point. I am learning to reparent myself.
I am learning to reparent myself.
I'm really proud of myself.
I'm really proud of myself.
Side of eye. I choose tenderness over judgment.
I choose tenderness over judgment.
Under eye. I whisper, you are safe now.
I whisper you are safe now.
Under nose. I give myself permission to rest.
I give myself permission to rest.
Under mouth. I listen to what I need.
I listen to what I need.
Collarbone. I speak kindly to myself.
I speak kindly to myself.
3 inches below the armpit. I offer gentle care and grace.
I offer gentle care and grace.
Top of head. I honor every emotion I feel.
I honor every emotion I feel.
Eyebrow point. I am becoming the parent I needed.
I am becoming the parent I needed.
Release the tapping. We're going to take another deep conscious breath, inhaling through the nose, visualizing a white, peaceful light. Exhaling through the mouth with an audible sigh, everything that is not peace and love. Now we're going to anchor in all that worthiness. Karate chop point. Even though it's new to feel worthy,
Even though it's new to feel worthy,
I choose to believe it more and more each day.
I choose to believe it more and more each day.
Even though it feels unfamiliar,
Even though it feels unfamiliar,
I claim my worth now.
I claim my worth now.
Even though my past shaped me,
Even though my past shaped me,
it doesn't define my worth today.
it does not define my worth today.
Eyebrow point. I am worthy because I exist.
I am worthy because I exist.
Side of eye. My value is not up for debate.
My value is not up for debate.
Under eye. I am learning to receive love.
I am learning to receive love.
Under nose. I trust my own heart.
I trust my own heart.
Under mouth. I was always enough.
I was always enough.
Collarbone. I walk in love and truth.
I walk in love and truth.
3 inches below the armpit. I give myself what I need.
I give myself what I need.
Top of head. I am whole and complete.
I am whole and complete.
Eyebrow point. I belong just as I am.
I belong just as I am.
Butterfly taps on the shoulder. I am worthy of unconditional love.
I am worthy of unconditional love.
I am worthy of giving it to myself.
I am worthy of giving it to myself.
I lovingly reparent my inner child.
I lovingly reparent my inner child.
I am safe to be my full self.
I am safe to be my full self.
Release the tapping. We're going to take one last deep conscious breath, inhaling through the nose, visualizing a white, peaceful light. And now exhaling through the mouth with an audible sigh, everything that is not peace and love. Ah, excellent. Now, going back to that same scale of feeling comfortable reparenting yourself. One is I'm all in, 10 is all not in, not supporting that at all. Where's your number now?
I went from like a 6 to a 4.
That's good. So those of you out there, I want to hear from you. Tell me what your starting score was and what your ending score was. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer. Sometimes it might go up, sometimes it stays the same, sometimes it goes lower. It's all good. And it's all just information. Feel free to redo the tapping as much as necessary so that you can feel less stressed and less anxious.
Mm,
So, yeah, so thank you all for doing that. I feel a lot better. I feel like I can create some worthiness rituals that will really support me in reparenting my inner child. So let's talk a little bit about integration. Reparenting and reclaiming worthiness happens in our everyday choices. And when we feel those, sometimes in the morning we can start with a morning mantra. Sometimes I do. I'm good enough. I'm enough, just as I am. Um, if I come, if I have a thought that's really kind of ruminating, I'll journal about that
mhm,
with my inner child, or even do like Ty Kuttner suggested. I'll do an inner surveillance in the morning and say, "Hey, what's going on? How are you guys doing?"
check in with the team.
Check in with the team.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Um, yeah, it's really important to create some type of routine to reset your mind, to reset your body, to reset just your daily habits. Because if we get into the habit of thinking that things aren't ever going to change or shift, guess what? They won't. So it's really important. Another thing is to find your community too. Having people around you that see the light in you, that encourage you to love on yourself more and treat yourself better. That's who you need to kick it with. That's who you need to be around. That energy matters, and the energy that we put ourselves in and surround ourselves with, it can help us, it can heal us, but at the on the other side of it, it can hinder us depending on who we're connecting with.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. And that's why this podcast exists. So we can be a safe space.
yeah,
Healing is held with love. You know,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it here.
Yes, yes.
I love it here.
Yes, so we're about to close out. Just want to remind you all of, some of our offers. We have Boundary Badass. That is my book, my ebook to help you say no without feeling guilty. And have a few other offers that are percolating up, and I'll share those with you next week. Lauren, what you got?
Well, listen here. No, I am offering readings. I do tarot and oracle readings. I've actually done a few this past week. I'm excited about that. I also offer some coaching around behavior change. So if you're looking for support with creating a behavior plan for yourself, I'm your girl. I also offer sound healing and Reiki as an offering as well. So can contact me, let me know what you're seeking. If anything, it could be a good conversation and a redirection to something else or someone else. But either way, I'm here to connect. So,
Yes, love that. And
mm,
I can attest to Lauren's readings. They're always spot on. Always spot on. And from if you or your kids or you know of anyone that is in need of a behavior plan or change, she is masterful at them. And so you can just click on any of the links below on how to get in touch with Lovely Lauren, or if you want to get in touch with me and have a desire to start monetizing your gifts and talents. I am offering $150 a landing page specials, so you can get that. It's a great way to, really focus in and get your product or service out there for really low cost. Where else can you get an online presence that inexpensively? So let me support you if you're looking at reducing any of your addictions or destructive patterns. I'd love to support you eliminating those in a safe, loving, and soft way using emotional freedom techniques, hypnosis, and Roxiva. Roxiva is this great light and sound technology that really does
you can't
magic.
put it into words what it is. Like the Roxiva, every time the last session that you did, the group session that you had,
Yeah.
it was amazing. And I just walked away feeling so much better. Yeah, listen, people, you've got to go see Dr. Gigi. Have whether it be a group or a one-on-one session, you'll always walk away feeling better and lighter and glad that you showed up for yourselves. So, um, as a parent to yourself, you know, take your little self over to Dr. Gigi and go see what she's talking about.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Lauren. Thank
Yeah.
you. So, if this episode has touched you, please share your comments. We'd love to hear from you. Please like, subscribe, and share with others. We really want this kind of content to go viral. And it goes viral with the help of you. So, thank you if you're listening live or listening to the replay. Again, uh, leave a message so we can hear from you and can respond back. Thanks and have a great Sunday.
Peace.
Peace.